Thursday night hockey is back, and tonight, a couple of division rivals are going to be facing off against each other. It is the Bridgeport Sound Tigers hosting the Hershey Bears. Hi, everyone. TSibs with you. Goosechuk is here as well. He'll be calling all the action tonight as we get ready for this game. Sorry for the delay, but it is a interesting night with EA and PlayStation, and a lot of guys not able to get on, but guys are getting on now and getting ready for the game. We'll be getting it to you shortly. And these two teams have been battling for that top position so far this season. As we take a look at the Eastern Atlantic, it is Hershey on top by 2 points right now, with the WBS Penguins two behind. And then at 8 behind the Hershey Bears is Bridgeport. So this is a big game for both of these teams tonight, Goose, and it might be halfway through the season, but every game at this point is incredibly important, and this one is a game that both teams were looking forward to, and Hershey needing to do what they can to stay in first place.
Absolutely, and I think the big benefit for Bridgeport in this game is they're going up against a very good team in the Hershey Bears, but with that cushion that they have, a 9-point cushion between them and Providence, a loss here tonight isn't the end-all, be-all, and they still have a nice amount of space holding them into a playoff spot in that top 4. Obviously, though, their battle right now is to try to move up into the number 2 or even number 1 seed, and obviously a win here tonight will make them hit that 50-point mark and move them within just 4 points of second place and only 6th out of the lead in the Eastern Atlantic Division. So definitely a big game here tonight for Bridgeport, but Hershey knows what they're in for, and they put out a good line tonight, so I'm sure they're going to be ready for everything.
Hershey Bears going with Chowski at center, Mafia Man on the right wing, Short Shady at left. The defensive pairing of Joe Wink and Babata at right and left. Goaltender Musapotamus, who has had a spectacular season so far. He is an all-star, as is Mafia Man on the starting lineup tonight for Hershey. On the other side for Bridgeport, it is Skull Fox at center, Convicted at left wing, Fire Mike on the right side. And thanks to Fire Mike for providing his feed tonight for the game. On left D is Dad's Devil, and on the right D is Tuckett Teal, who's been a nice addition, as we talked about with Robo a couple of shows ago on the weekend. Good pickup of Tuckett Teal, who also has made the All-Star team this season. Trap MC, the goaltender, who may be as talented as they come right now in the AHL in the net. Had a little struggle early in the year when the team was really struggling defensively to get anything going, but has kept them in so many games this season and is in that again tonight. So the top goaltenders for both teams going for both teams tonight, and they are still getting ready for this one. But it is certainly maybe not the powerhouse lineup for Bridgeport, but certainly one that has been very successful this season and could definitely give Mafia Man and his guys a run for their money tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking at what Bridgeport brings to the table, we know Convicted, he had a good year in the AHL. I believe it was maybe season 2. I know he put up some good stats. Skull Fox has been rather under the radar, not putting up the most points, but at a 6-1 record right now, he's definitely shown he can play. And then, Fire Mike at right wing, solid player in himself, not having the greatest of years, but he's consistent, and a solid defense there with Dad's Devil and Tuckett Teal. Bridgeport, definitely the underdog in this game. I don't think that's something to hide, but at the same time, that's all just based on how good Hershey is. Hershey's putting out a huge lineup right now with Shady, Chowski, and Mafia Man. And Bridgeport is putting out a good lineup, but even though Hershey has a better players out there, it seems Bridgeport's at 48 points. They've won games. They've managed to get points. They're not a team to ignore. So I'd say Hershey's favored here, but Bridgeport can definitely come out firing and bury a couple goals early and turn this into a whole different hockey game.
We got a chance to talk to the GM of the Hershey Bears a little bit earlier, and just to get some idea of what's been going on with the team. And, actually, we may not go to that one. I see the teams are getting ready. Looks like the Sound Tigers have sent that invite already, so I don't think we're going to get a chance to hear from Bob Swagger, who is the GM of Hershey, and certainly happy with how things have been going for his team. And so it is. It was interesting to talk to him because obviously very happy with what he's done with building the team. They haven't had to make too many moves yet. They picked up Hit by the Best earlier in the year, and he winds up being an all-star as well. So what moves they have made have really helped the team out tremendously, and it's one of those teams who has not had to do an awful lot to put themselves in this position. We will hold off on the interview. Looks like they are backing out, and I don't know if they're going to go right back into a game, so we'll see. I think this is really weird. There's been a lot of back and forth because of this time change of a game tonight. The initial time was 10:30. Then there's been a lot of chatter. Well, we're going to start right away. Well, we're going to start in 10 minutes. Well, we're going to start 20 after. So sorry for this, folks, but we've been a little bit of a dilemma because nobody can really make a decision and just say, hey, we're going to go at this point. So looked like the Sound Tigers tried to start a game up, and for whatever reason, Hershey was not ready for it. So we'll have to wait on this just a little bit. Bridgeport, again, another one of those teams who did not start out well this season, but have found themselves in a good position now. And again, it's a matter of patience and a matter of taking their time and not panicking with their roster, and then going out and making a few moves that were useful to them. And they knew they had a good goaltender, and they wound up backing up that guy with some better players around him. And I'm assuming I still have Goose. Yes, no? Did I lose you there, bud?
You got me?
I got you now. There you go.
There we go. My mic unplugged itself. My apologies there. But as I was saying with Bridgeport, you see a number of GMs between the NHL, AHL, and CHL. Some guys just make moves to make moves. But, Bridgeport, looking at the division they're in, the point totals aren't very high for each team. So knowing that, hey, let's just stick what we're comfortable with and just build that chemistry and see what we can do. They were in a good position anyway, so just sticking with your gut feeling, sticking with the guys it's not the worst thing. You'll still, trade deadline's coming up within the next couple of weeks, so everyone is most likely going to make a move or two, but being able to be comfortable in the core you have is probably the best feeling right now. So it's good to see them sticking with the guys they have and not just going out to make a ton. I could be wrong. Maybe this weekend, for all we know, Robo could be planning on shipping the whole team out. But I think they're in too good of a spot right now to change that. Even, the record doesn't look pretty, but 48 points is 48 points, good for third in the division, and that's all you need.
Looks like Hershey may be needing an ECU right now. So I'll tell you what, we'll play as much of this interview with Bobby Goggles as we can. Bob Swagger, as you know him on LG, and we'll get back as soon as we can. If the game starts up, we'll come back to you guys and bring the game to you. But right now, just a little interview with Bob Swagger a little bit earlier on today. Bob Swagger joins us on the pregame show here, and he is the GM of the Hershey Bears, who so far remain atop of the Eastern Atlantic right now, 2 points ahead of the Penguins, and playing third place Bridgeport tonight. Not an easy game, Bob. A lot of ups and downs for the team lately, but coming off a win late last night. Talk about some of the teams that we've been going up against here in the Eastern Atlantic, and the level of competition that you've seen so far for this season.
I think it's been a pretty balanced division. Every team's had their ups and downs. We started off pretty strong. The Penguins had a good first week, then they fell off, and then we've been struggling lately. So, I think we've all kind of had the same type of season, string together a good couple weeks, and then struggle for a little bit.
And, the Bears themselves started off incredibly well right from the beginning of the season. A couple of big weeks early on. Week 3 and 4, some mixed results, and again this week still 4-4 after week 5. After the first 8 games in week 5, how do you have the Bears haven't gone on any extended losing streak? How do you keep a team from making that happen? What are the types of things you need to do as a GM to make sure a team doesn't go on a prolonged losing streak?
We try to balance out our lines. We did a little bit of juggling with the lines after week 2, which in retrospect, I think it was the right decision, but it hasn't worked out the way we wanted it to. So we're just kind of trying to improve that way. But we've been pretty consistent. I guess consistently inconsistent. We had a good couple weeks, and then now we're just kind of putzing along a little bit. But we just try to spread out the lines as best we can, and win the close games. Really, that's what it comes down to.
And with the All-Star break coming up, yourself, Mafia Man, Nismo, Hit by the Best, and Moose making the All-Star team, and Wyatt as well. So I almost forgot about Wyatt as well. A lot of guys from your team going to be playing in the All-Star games this weekend. That's got to give you some sort of pride in how your picks and your bids this season went for you.
Yeah, we have a lot of guys that probably could have been there. You're having a great year. Bobata's having a great year. We have a lot of guys on this team that were worthy. Chowsky, Shady. Really, we could have nominated a bunch of guys, but the guys who made it were certainly deserving. I'm sure a lot of teams wish they could have nominated some more guys.
So we're halfway through the season at this point. Is this pretty much where you expected your team and this division to be? Did you see the competition being what seemingly right now is a 3-team race, or did you expect a few other teams to be in this race at this point?
No, I think it's pretty much, I think it's going exactly kind of how we thought it was going to be. I think me and Mafia and myself thought that, Hershey and the Penguins were going to be at the top, and that's kind of the way it's been for the seasons. But, outside of that, the teams below us have made a lot of moves, so it's kind of tough to keep track of exactly what they have. But, Bridgeport's strung together a good couple weeks, and they've been picking up some ground. So hopefully tonight we can get a win. You
mentioned all the moves. There have been a lot of trades, just losing guys, period, to suspension for one reason or another. Are you surprised, though, as far as the trades are concerned, are you surprised about how much wheeling and dealing has been going on, or is this not necessarily a shock to you?
Yeah, I think it happens every year. I'm surprised at all the management that's been removed or suspended or quit. That's comes as a surprise. But as far as the movement of players, you're always dealing with call-ups to the NHL and stuff like that. So there's always a ton of change in the AHL. The teams beginning of the season, they don't look the same by the end. We've actually been pretty lucky. Washington, has let us keep our roster together. So we've been able to kind of do that, but a lot of teams don't have that luxury.
And obviously, you can't mention specifics, but do you feel like your team is pretty much set, or would you be open to any thoughts or ideas about moving a player, or you try and just let your guys gel and leave it at that?
Yeah. We're always looking to improve. There's any GM that's not looking to improve their team isn't doing their job. So, but at the same time, we've had the same guys. I don't really. We made a move to get hit pretty early on, and we've been rolling with what we've got. So if there's an opportunity out there to improve, we'll certainly take it. But as of right now, we're pretty happy with where we're at. We just got to play better. And
so that's our time with Bob Swagger. We're going to be getting to the game right now. So back with me again is Goosechuk, and looks like the teams are ready to go. Vish B is going to be sitting in as ECU at center for the Hershey Bears as we have a late scratch, which will put him in the lineup. And so that's the only change that we see so far for both of these teams, Goose.
Yeah, it's definitely a benefit. Nobody really knows when stuff like this is going to happen. And it's, pretty questionable with EA. You never know what's going to happen. So it's tough to see one of their Hershey center to go up, but, you get a good team in Hershey, so they'll be able to bounce back. So the puck has dropped for period number 1 here. Bridgeport, Hershey Bears. It is the game of the week here, Thursday night, LGAHL on PSN. And Bridgeport, aggressive forecheck there. Convicted with the puck. He'll pass it out front, and a goal by Skullfox. So Bridgeport opens up the scoring quick, and I mentioned that earlier. If they can get a quick goal, that can really get them a boost over Hershey. So Hershey will take that off the draw. And again, I'm not sure the chemistry they have with Vish at center, so we'll see how it affects this line specifically. Some TCs have played with certain lines, and others they haven't played with at all. So we'll see how Hershey's able to bounce back after a quick goal against. But Bridgeport on the attack once again. Pass up front, one-timer miss there by Fire Mike. Ends up getting covered eventually by Moosopotamus, so Hershey will have a chance to reset here in their own zone.
They've played some drops with Vish. I don't think Vish has actually played a game for Hershey yet.
So yeah, it'll be at least a period to really get used to it, and hopefully they can adapt come later. But a dump in there by Skullfox. He'll end up getting the puck back, playing behind the net in Gretzky's office. Over to Fire Mike. Fire Mike holding against the board, shot on net, and it ends up bouncing all the way off the boards back into the zone. Aggressive forecheck there by Mafia Man. Can't make anything of it. And an attempted pass up by Dad's Devil that will go for an icing just past the stick of Fire Mike. So a face-off here in Bridgeport zone. Face-off 1, a rocket one-timer from Joe Wink. Can't get anything on it. And a big poke check here by Convicted. Huge diving poke check by Moosopotamus to save that potential goal on the break. Skullfox in close with the wrist shot. Can't get it to go. Tuckett Teal gets a shot on that. Can't get it to go. And here comes Hershey with a response, and they will not go offside. Bridgeport will pick it back up, and they'll start moving back up the ice again. And we have a penalty on Bridgeport. So power play for Hershey. Big chance to answer.
A chance for them to try and get something going offensively. So far, they really haven't gotten in position, and they've struggled even getting across the blue lines, or at least this gives them a chance to break out the offense a little bit.
Good shot on the net there by Mafia, covered up. Another draw. Slap shot was blocked. And Bridgeport now somehow gets into the zone. A lot of fighting by Tuckett Teal. Great job there on the pressure. He's going to continue moving the puck with poke check after poke check. And Hershey now will get the puck. They'll be bringing it back down. A deke attempt. Stuffed by Bridgeport and a big dump, and that went over the boards. Not a penalty, though. Tuckett Teal, close one there, almost up to the blue line. Push off on the draw, knocked out of the zone. Hershey has to regroup. 20 seconds left on the power play.
Not much happening. Still struggling to get something going in the zone. Don't seem to be connecting on passes too well either.
Yeah, it seems they're being a little frantic, especially being on the power play. Maybe they feel they needed to get a goal there. They're going to get another chance here. Hooking penalty on Convicted. Into the zone quick. Shot on net is steered away. That was Shady with the shot there, so a good try. Another power play, though, here. Dad's Double will get the puck off the draw and dumps it down for a clear. Knock that puck right over to a Bridgeport player. Probably not the best decision there. But Bridgeport will take it back. They'll regroup again, and they'll dump it down again.
It was a good draw by Mafia. He was able, and he likes doing that, he was able to get Convicted to chase him, and he drew the penalty to get to this point.
He did. It was a good play there, and a huge rush up the center by Vish. Glove save, though, by Trapp, and we'll have another face-off here. 45 seconds on the power play. Tie up and a rush in for Mafia Man. Can't make it happen. A failed slap shot dump attempt. Scramble out front. Hershey's going to end up with it back into Bridgeport's hands. Fire Mike gets it. Now to Teal, and he will take a slap shot down the ice. No mistake there, but a bounce out front to Skullfox. What a bounce and a one-timer attempt by Fire Mike. Incredible play there. turned a bit of luck into an offensive chance, and now a power play going into Bridgeport's favor. This is a penalty fest so far here in the first period. Hershey will win that draw and take a slap shot down the ice to clear it. See how Bridgeport does on a breakout here. Missed pass, will not go for an icing. Dumped down but intercepted by Dad's Devil, so he'll get to regroup a little quicker. Convicted up the left side now. Convicted curls over. Slap shot by Tuckett-Teal, blocked. Now on a break, 2 men poking. That will get poked away by Tuckett-Teal. Great job defensively there. The 2 defensemen closing in, not allowing a good chance. And here we go with Bridgeport trying to answer.
It looked like Vish, who had the breakaway on that one, just wasn't able to get enough distance.
Bridgeport power play is up, back to even strength. 2 minutes left in the period. Battle along the side. Convicted comes away with that. Passes to Skullfox, going back and forth, getting into the zone. Wide slap shot. Shot on net, rebound attempt, nope, and it'll end up in transition for Hershey. Pass across the middle, intercepted, Convicted now, bringing it up. Can he get between the D? He does. Chance goes for the cross crease, cannot make it happen to fire Mike. Hershey tries again, maybe a force there, resulting in a turnover, and that will do it for period number 1. Bridgeport up 1-0. Rather chaotic period with a lot of turnovers, a lot of quick passing, penalties. A very, very interesting first period.
Hershey really, and look, Vish, it comes into a situation where he has to learn what these guys want to do. It is really a tough situation for Mafia and Shady to all of a sudden work with someone new who really should be the quarterback of the line, and then Vish trying to figure out what these guys are looking for. It is tough for the front line to have somebody new just jump in like that, and good to Vish to be there to play, but it does really hurt an experienced front line when they can't figure out where everyone is going to be going.
It does, and I preach it to my team when I play, and I think everyone should preach communication. You got to be able to talk. If you're not familiar, you got to be able to talk. So we'll see if Hershey can make some changes going forward in this game. Right now, very aggressive forecheck by Hershey, getting them somewhere. As they'll play it down below, that's Vish. He's going to go over. Big slap shot on net, but a save.
Mafia likes that shot over by the face-off circle right at the dot, so Vish fed him nicely for that.
Absolutely. Mafia he's worked that a couple times off the face-off draws, but hasn't been able to get it to go, as Trapp hasn't moved anywhere on him. That's Convicted, though. Down behind the net. Great defense there by Wink. Convicted pass out front to fire Mike. Can't make it happen. Skullfox, great passing around the net. They try to go up top and results in a turnover here. Odd man rush. Bridgeport able to even it up. Mafia man in the corner. Big one-timer over to Vish. It is a 1-1 game. What a play. The patience of Mafia man to look for that open guy for the shot. So 1-1 here. Bridgeport tie up on the faceoff. They're going to win it. Convicted's going in. Gets a quick shot on net. Moose makes the save. And we'll have another faceoff in Hershey's zone.
Vish from Mafia there at 5:05 to give it a 1-1 game now.
Seems like they definitely got a little more comfortable so far here in the second period. We'll see how well Mafia can continue. A couple nice dekes. Incredible play there. Huge shot on net. Cannot get it to go, though. Trapp with a great save, not budging for any of those dekes.
That's what Mafia likes to do. He finds an opportunity, and he says, "Just give me the puck and let me go." And he did. He just went ahead there.
Definitely, yeah. That seems like a Mafia. Whether they get an ECU center or not, if Mafia is playing his game, he can certainly make a difference. Looks for an identical play there to Vish as they had on that goal, not able to make it happen. Hershey trying to keep it in the zone. Bridgeport creates a turnover, and they get 2 men up. Pass from Convicted to Fire Mike, not going to happen. As they fight around the boards for the puck. Pass out front.
Nice.
Results in a turnover. Good play by Hershey. Mafia man up again. Can't get a shot on net. Good defense there by Bridgeport.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, what a play there. We had a deke by Mafia Man, I believe, and that was Vish who came storming in just right on his stick, the failed deke, and he's able to bury it right around trap, so a 2-1 lead here for Hershey.
Vish from Shady and Mafia at 10:46 to make it 2-1 Hershey now.
Doesn't matter how pretty they are, goal is a goal, and that's what Hershey wants here, taking a 2-1 lead. Good pressure, though, by Bridgeport. Fire Mike, he overskates the puck just barely. That could have been a good chance. Puck gets dumped down for an icing.
And you can see Hershey is moving the puck a lot better. They're finding the openings now, and I got to believe that Mafia told Vish, look, just set up over here, and when I get the puck, I'm going to feed you.
And that's sometimes all it takes, but we'll see if Bridgeport can answer back. Skullfox with a face-off win and a slap shot attempt. Skullfox actually gets a turnover here on the breakout pass. Cross-crease attempt, can't make it happen. Fire Mike now down below, passes it on net. I think a inaccurate pass there. Didn't mean for that to happen as he had two open teammates. Hershey gets a chance now. Again on offense. Again, Mafia coming from that corner, looking for a pass out front. This time to Shady. Can't make it happen.
Mafia's playing it smart. He knows they're coming after him, so now he's going to feed somebody else to get the opportunity.
Vish there tries for a cross crease. Can't make it happen, and they're going to force it up to Fire Mike. Gets poked away by Bobata.
Vish a little ahead of the play there. But a much better period for the Hershey Bears.
Absolutely is. And we got a tie up there. Shady
trip.
will bring it in, and there's a tripping penalty. Hershey gets a chance to make this a 2-goal game. We have Fire Mike in the box of all people. So we'll try our best to call it from the box here. But Hershey's going to keep the puck in the zone. Now it gets knocked out, and Skullfox will dump it down. Good play by Skullfox there, not trying to take it in. Knowing the period's almost over, kill off this penalty, and we can start fresh. So they're going to move the puck up, skating backwards over the line is Vish. Vish goes in, dekes, shot on net, can't make it go. That'll go out to Shady. Down battle behind the net. So it goes for a wraparound. Big scrum on the puck right now. And it's going to end up getting dumped down by Skullfox once again, but intercepted quickly by Joe Wink. He'll move it up. Mafia Man on the sideboards in that corner that he loves. Making his moves. Gets poked away, and Bridgeport will get it back. That's Skullfox once again. Great play so far by Skullfox.
I haven't seen much of these guys for Bridgeport. We see a lot of other names mentioned during the season, and these guys, you know, this is why this team is so strong. They're strong from line to line.
And that'll do it for period number 2. Hershey up 2-1. A huge kill there by Bridgeport at the end. Hershey had a couple of great chances, but Bridgeport was able to shut them down. As we look at the stats real quick, Hershey 9-6 shots, but Bridgeport favors in the time and attack. Passing is relatively just about even, 53.8 to 52.8. And other than that, faceoffs are even. Penalty minutes are a bit skewed in the favor of Hershey. So, excuse me. Yeah, Hershey has more power plays, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure. But yeah, it's definitely not been a pretty game by any means. A couple of nice plays resulting in goals. We'll see how the third period starts. Face-off draw. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, again, the scoring in the second. Vish with both goals in his ECU debut here for Hershey, giving the Bears now the 2-1 lead.
Gotta love finding hidden treasure in an ECU, and we're going to get another Fire Mike penalty, resulting in a Hershey power play here. We'll see if Hershey can capitalize on this one.
Nice shot.
Big one-timer from Joe Wink. Is a 3-1 game for the Hershey Bears from Short Shady and Vish. Vish with a 3-point night so far. Bridgeport's going to get one on the board, presumably quickly, as the momentum right now is going all in Hershey's favor. A lot of penalties on Bridgeport's side. They're going to go right out front, though. Right as I say that, Fire Mike making up for that penalty and power play goal against. as he takes the puck in the corner, just goes right in front of the net and buries it. 3-2 game now. Bridgeport back in at 17 minutes left in the third. And a slap shot short side from Mafia Man again, going back to that shot, but Trapp seems to have that corner covered as of now. We'll see if he gets off it at all. Mafia Man again making a nice move off the tie-up. Cannot make anything happen. Good defense by Bridgeport. Convicted's going to bring it in. Goes for a big rebound shot. Can't make it happen. Tuckett Teal tries for something. He gets blocked. And now Hershey on the forecheck. Bridgeport, good job getting it out. Great hit there by Mafia Man. And Hershey again on the attack. Over to Tish. Huge slap shot one-timer saved by Trapp.
You see that save? It popped in the air. He made that initial save, and then he gloved it. I don't know if I've seen that happen in this game.
I was going to say, I have not seen that animation at all, but great play nonetheless. Skullfox is going to get the draw here, and he'll bring it back, take his time. It's one thing I've liked about watching Skullfox play. He's a smart player. He knows when to rush a pass. He knows when to lay back. He knows when to pass or shoot. Seems to be a very conservative center. Very good defensively. But Bridgeport, extremely aggressive right now. The two wingers, Skullfox now moving it behind the net. He's going to go for wrap all the way around the net. Ends up trying to pass out front. Does connect, but it's poked away quickly by Joe Wink. Hershey's had great defense here for the most part, disregarding pretty much the last goal.
Interesting watching Bridgeport on the offense. Their wingers stay spread out. They don't bunch up, and so there's always somebody in one of the three segments of the ice, either in the slot or by the face-off circles. There's always somebody available to find an opening, and if you spread out like that, the goaltender just can't make the move that quickly if you go from one side to the other. So smart play by their forwards to stay in a good configuration. Absolutely.
Just like you mentioned, it leaves so many options, but we have an interception here by Vish. He's going to get it on net and score.
I think Vish is making a statement in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a hat trick for Vish, unassisted off that turnover. Great play by him at center. And when he thought a team like the Bears couldn't get better, they get a guy like Vish coming up, putting up 4 points in his debut. So a big fill in there, as again, right at the beginning of the game, we were wondering how Vish could play, and he certainly stepped up here. Bridgeport, 2 goals down now. They get an icing, so they have a chance here in the offensive zone to make something happen. 6:42 left in the third. Bridgeport's going to answer back quickly. They win the draw. Quick shot on net from Teal, not able to make it happen. Gets blocked down in front. Pass goes out front to Mafia Man. He is going to try to dangle around Dad's Devil. Shot on net, saved by Trapp. Devil tries to move it, turnover again, and they keep it in the zone. Hershey keeps it in the zone. A great play there by Wink getting it down. And we have another power play, this time going in Bridgeport's favor. So we'll see what can happen. Attempted cross crease there by Convicted. Can't make it happen. And Hershey, they're going to be aggressive. They are. That's Shady trying to bring it up the ice. Devil will get the puck, though, on the turnover. Pass up to Skullfox. He'll bring it into the zone. Cross to the middle. Convicted picks up the loose pass. And just as we were saying, they don't get bunched up. They got a bit bunched up there. It's going to result in a turnover. Shady now brings it in. Shot on net. Save. Rebound right out. And we have a one-on-one battle here. Fire Mike with a deke. Goes for the shot. High and wide outside of the net. Rebound goes back up top. A scrum right around the blue line. Good poke check there by Fire Mike to keep it out of Hershey's hands. That was a good scoring opportunity there. Carry in for Tuckett Teal. Not able to make anything happen. Back to even strength. And here comes Shady up the left side. Poke checked out of the way. Collision there between teammates. Skullfox is going to move it up. Almost off sides. And Hershey trying to regroup. Just 1 minute left in the game. Trying to keep this a 2-goal game. And
Vish and Shady colliding. If there's one negative you might have is where are these guys going to be on the ice? And Vish probably still learning that, but score the hat trick, bump into me as much as you want.
Absolutely. If you're going to make some mistakes like that, if you're making up for them by scoring goals, I think we can all agree that's a fair swap.
Remind me not to
But
ask Fire Mike to stream anymore because he's taking way too many penalties for us. Hey, just to recap the scoring, Wink, Joe Wink for Hershey led off the scoring in the third at 124 from Shady. From Shady and Mafia, I believe, making it 3-1. It was then Fire Mike scoring for Bridgeport. About a little more than a minute later to make it 3-2, and then Vish with his hat trick unassisted off of a nice steal at 11:48, making it the 4-2 score we have right now with 41.9 left to go.
And definitely, I think the demise of Bridgeport tonight were the penalties. I believe this is their 6th penalty, 3rd from Fire Mike alone, so a tough game for him. And everyone seems to have those games where just they'll throw one poke check, and that one poke check will result in a trip. So you're very nervous to throw them the rest of the game. Good opportunity there from Vish, shot on net, but a save by Trapp. Trapp has definitely played well tonight, keeping them closer in this game. Hershey's had a lot of good scoring opportunities, especially from Mafia Man over in that face-off circle. So Skullfox trying to make something happen in the closing seconds of this game. Pass goes wide. Hershey bringing the puck back up the ice. That's Vish going wide around the net. Circling. Mafia Man taking control of that corner. One-timer chance goes wide. Bridgeport will clear it out, and that will do it. Hershey takes the 4-2 win over Bridgeport, improving their lead in the Eastern Atlantic Division. A huge win for them to move up to a 4-point lead over Wilkes-Barre. As of now, we still have, obviously, the rest of the games going on tonight, so we'll see if Wilkes-Barre is able to close on that. But a big win nonetheless for the Hershey Bears.
And we'll try and get somebody on soon from the Hershey Bears. And I know Moose is happy. He gave up 2 in net. Good job in net. And one thing that doesn't make Moose happy is that he's had some own goals. He's had more than his fair share of own goals on him this season. So none tonight, and I know he's happy with the defensive performance these guys put in. And so we get to see a pretty well fought game. And Bridgeport certainly looked the best of it in the first period, but coming out in the second, Hershey spread it out. I think we'll hopefully get a chance to talk to Mafia, but he basically wound up probably just talking to his guys and saying, look, this is where we need to position. This is what we need to do to loosen it up. And they went out and they did exactly that in that second period, really taking it over, and then never looked back after taking the 2-1 lead in this game.
And then Bridgeport definitely showed some fight early on. Again, they came out right out of the gates with that goal, and they showed that they're a solid team for sure. It's just, I don't think anyone could imagine that Vish was going to come out and put up, 3 or 4 points. So that was definitely a surprise, probably by all 11 other guys on the ice, including the 2 of us watching. So that's definitely something you can't plan for. Nevertheless, they did shoot themselves in the foot on a couple of occasions, so it's tough to lose like that. But again, you're losing to the number 1 team in your division by 2 goals. It seemed a bit closer than that on certain occasions, so I wouldn't rule out Bridgeport being able to take down Hershey at some point this season going forward. I think they definitely have a solid team with that Sound Tigers team. I think they definitely have a solid team put together.
Yeah, holding the Sound Tigers to 9 shots. To me, that says a lot about the about the defense as a whole. They went out there and knew that Bridgeport had a solid offensive line there, and they kept that middle jammed up. If you as you look back at this game, there were not a lot of opportunities right in front of the Hershey net, and really. That goes out to Joe Wink and Babata, who really kept everybody to the outside. If there's one thing I like to preach is like to defensemen is, look, if you don't know what to do with each other, if you don't know where you're going to play, just push everybody to the outside. Just keep the middle free, because the goaltender can deal with that. It's just your best bet is to keep them as far away from the net as you can. Once guys are coming in the slot, then you can have these passes off the board that the goaltender has to account for, and then they're sliding all over the place. And once you get the goaltender sliding, you have such a much better shot, especially in this game now. Once the goaltender starts animating to the left and right, you have a much better shot of putting a wrister in from far out. We've seen that time and time again. And, Moose is really good positionally. He didn't have to worry too much about sliding a lot in this game, and that's what made it a good game for him.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that we've seen throughout, just NHL 17 in general. Don't even have to specify a league, but you see that top tier goalies really be able to put together what they need to do to not have to overreact or rely on EA's competence, whether they want to let the goalie use a certain animation or whether they want to let them slide the right way. There's a number of goalies who have been able to position themselves, whatever the play coming down the ice may be or off a face-off, they just know where to position themselves so that they can get the best chance to make a save. I don't think wherever you're standing in the net, you have a 100% chance of making a save just based off the way this game is. But you can see, again, that certain tier of goalies that are able to put themselves in the best position every single time there's a shot on net or an offensive rush from the other team to make a save. And I think Moose, while he wasn't challenged a huge amount in this game, he certainly did a good job making the saves he needed to make.
Again, final score, the Hershey Bears beating the Bridgeport Sound Tigers 4-2, and that gives Hershey now a 4-point lead in their division heading into the end of week number 4. And week number 5. Wow, I'm losing track of the weeks here. And, Hershey, as we spoke to Bob Swagger, we talked a little bit about the weeks that he's had recently where it's been up and down. There have been a couple of 500 level weeks for the Hershey Bears. After a good first 2 weeks, the last 2 were a little rough. They come out 5-4 this week with this win tonight. And the one thing Hershey's been able to do, even when they've had some bad games, is they've been able to recover and not have a losing streak go for a while. And I think that is a huge benefit when you can stop that. I know with Tucson last year, we started out really well. We hit the skids, and we could not stop sliding. And once that happened, we fell so quickly out of the playoffs, it was ridiculous. So, I give credit to Bobby and to Mafia for, not only putting together a good team, but getting the matchups going in the right way so that there's never really a slide. If any one line is having difficulties, the other two usually wind up picking it up, and they're very good about their matchups, about trying to go up against strengths and trying to offset what another team does, and that's what stops losing streaks, and that's what's kept the Bears, even though they have not played incredibly well the last few weeks, keeps them on top because they don't ever lose too many times in a row, and they always come back with a couple of more wins. And this week, like I said, barely over 500, but keep doing that, you're going to be in the playoff race. Just where you're going to be, might slide a bit, but they stay in first place so far.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier today, that Eastern Atlantic Division is probably one of the friendliest divisions to be in, along with, I believe, the Western Pacific. Is the point totals throughout the teams are lower than any other division. So Hershey can afford, as we heard Bobby mention in his interview earlier, they can certainly afford to have a couple hiccups throughout the year. They can afford to go on slumps, experiment with new lines, etc., because they have that backing of knowing, hey, we're at this point, I'm trying to do the math quick, 17 or 19 points ahead of the fourth place team to stay in the playoffs. So That's definitely Hershey's done a great job to put themselves in this position, regardless of the division they're in, and I think we'll only see them get better as they get closer to the playoffs.
So we take a quick look at the stats that are now in for the game. As you see, 17 shots on goal for the Bears, 9 for the Tigers, and that kind of doubling up on shots is never going to be good for the team who's on the low end. They're going to struggle to always be in games like this. Some hitting done by the Bears, but time and attack, look at that, pretty much even. Plenty of penalty minutes for the Sound Tigers, which certainly didn't help, and the face-off's just about even there. But you see, Vish B, the ECU for tonight, 3 goals and an assist, winning 53.1 face-offs percentage on face-offs. So, a good night for Vish. Probably will get the top star, and I guess actually LG has given him the top star. Joe Wink with the second and Moose with the third. You see Joe Wink with a goal off of that one slap shot that was a long-distance shot, but a nice setup, giving him the pass and the quick one-timer. On the other side, Skull Fox, Fire Mike with their goals. Mike with a goal and an assist in that one. And Mafia Man, again, the interesting part, I think what Mafia, and I would love to have talked to him tonight, I think what Mafia wound up doing was, he's a guy who wants to have the opportunity, who tries to get open, tries to give himself the room so they can get off a good point-blank shot. Tonight, he was the guy who fed. He was the one who got the puck around and got it up to Shady on a couple of breaks and got it over to Vish for that 1-1 timer to the right of Trap MC and made that that great slapper for the goal. So Mafia playing a different role, and that's what makes Mafia Man so good and so deadly in this game. He can score, he can deke, he plays good defense coming back, but he also can pass the puck and can set his guys up. And you know what? That's what you do with a guy like Vish. You don't bring him into center and tell him to quarterback the offense because he's not the quarterback. In this one, it has to be Mafia. He took that role, and that could not have been the smartest move in the world. Absolutely one of the best moves you could have done in this situation. He let Vish freelance, get himself open in an area, and then fed him. And Shady just played a great supporting role as well in this one. So hats off to Mafia, Shady, and Vish in his first game with the Bears, and a great showing for sure.
Absolutely, and again, Hershey, like you said, they you don't want to lose these games, and having the security of the line they put out there, despite having to put an ECU, I think they knew they were in a good position to be the favorite and just run away with this game with or without Vish at center. So they did a great job. Bridgeport again isn't the end of the world. They have a huge cushion between them and fourth place before they even have to worry about falling out of the playoff spot. So, keep looking forward. If you're Bridgeport, make some moves. You have to make some moves, but the line they put out today definitely didn't play too bad. Just had an off game, especially penalty wise. So we'll see. That both teams will have a good future going forward.
Bridgeport, definitely. We've talked about them on the weekly show, and again, they had a week a couple of weeks ago where they went on a big run, winning 8 of 9. So they definitely have the talent. They've done a nice job of bolstering this team up, and you got to give Robo a lot of credit. And he's a very dedicated player. He wants to do the right thing for his team, and he is always working hard to try and get his guys there. So hats off to him. He made a lot of good moves on defense a couple of weeks ago. He bolstered that defensive core, and look, they gave up 4 goals tonight, but it is, still it was 17 shots, still not a bad showing. That's that's about average, and as well as Hershey played those last 2 periods, they still made it a little tougher for Hershey to do something offensively. So this Bridgeport team is not going to go away. They're going to be around, and they're going to be a contender in the playoffs. And a well-fought game tonight, one we figured was probably going to be the case. And so, not a big surprise there. and meanwhile Hershey getting themselves a win and trying to get some momentum going into the next week before we get to the trade deadline the following weekend, and then that'll be the interesting part. Teams will be fairly solid. No one will really be moving, and then what happens then, we'll see how it all works out at that point.
Yeah, and as a GM, trade deadline, once that passes, that's going to be the happiest I'll be all season because I know I don't have to worry about thinking about should I make a trade? Is this guy good with this line? Do we need to upgrade here? I have a set lineup for the rest of the season. That's the easiest part. All I got to worry about is scheduling and setting up lines.
Well, I'll tell you what, good game tonight. We'll have a message out during the Sunday show about what the next Thursday night hockey game will be. But special notes, everybody, we will be covering the All-Star games on Saturday. Now, tomorrow is a round robin. It'll be every team is going to play the other three, one game each. It's a round robin of four divisions for the All-Star game. And then the top two teams will play a best of three on Saturday night. We'll do a 9 and a 10 and then an 11 o'clock game if needed. We'll be on for those games to call those as well. So looking forward to the All-Star weekend. Goose, you're hosting up one of the teams, and we put out the list tonight. There are a lot of good names on it on every division.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, it's you have the two, I guess you could say, alpha divisions between the Western Central and the Eastern North. So it'll be interesting to see if the Western Pacific and the Eastern Atlantic can put together their top guys and make a run all the way to the All-Star Game Championship. But regardless, I think congratulations to everyone who made the team. Very exciting to see the lineups we have and potential for the matchups that we could see between the divisions. So very excited to see how this weekend goes with the All-Star Game.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for us tonight. Final thoughts on this one. Again, a lot of good players on both teams tonight. Hershey having to deal with an ECU center, made the best of it, played great defense behind that line and in front of Moosopotamus. One of the better team efforts I've seen, and I'm on Hershey, so we've had a lot of great games this year. This is one of the better overall team efforts I've seen all year by these guys. And, Vish came in, played his part, played it beautifully, and everybody on the ice did what they needed to do to assure that they, got themselves in a position to win. Good job by Hershey. And, and this Bridgeport team certainly is stacked. I think this line showed it tonight.
Absolutely. Hershey definitely has a good future. And, we'll see how far they can take it.
That's it for Goosechuk and I tonight. We will be back next Thursday. And, of course, we'll be on tonight for the All-Star game. So hopefully you'll tune in then as well. But next Thursday night will be another matchup, another top matchup. And we'll let you know about what that is in the Sunday show. Until then,